Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be discussing and talking about a video I have been meaning to do for a very long time, and that is talking about my children's memory keeping journals that I intend to gift to them when they are of a certain age, milestone. I haven't really decided yet. Maybe it's when they move out of the house, get married, who knows how long, but my intention is to memory keep very special moments for them and then gift this to them. So I have 3 kids. I am currently pregnant at 40 weeks on my due date today as I'm filming this with my 3rd child. I have an almost 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and soon to be newborn, and these are the journals that I have set out. I decided to do these memory keeping journals when I first discovered memory keeping on Instagram, and I had no idea about this type of journaling, and I thought why not start with my son, because I was pregnant with him when I had discovered it. So my son's journal is pretty up to date. We're gonna go through it. Well, that's a lie, it's not up to date. It's up to date until the 1st year. The 1st year is the most detailed, or I guess the most pages, and after that I plan to do it based on major milestones every year after the 1st year of life. So he's 2, the 1st year has the most detailed, the 2nd year will just be some major milestones, birthday, and then it will get more detailed as they age. But I thought we would talk about the products that I was waiting for to fully complete this video. So I ordered from 𝘠𝘠 Journals. This is the brand right here, 𝘠𝘠 Journals, and the owner, her name is 𝘬𝘠𝑦, and I had seen her talking about these covers of hers on an Instagram reel, and I decided, okay, I'm going to make the plunge and get these covers for my daughters. They're just so beautiful. They're so well made, and I think they will they will stand the test of time, waiting years and years and years that I can gift it to them, and it's still going to be beautiful, still going to hold and make a beautiful gift for them. Since 𝘠𝘠 Journals is very feminine, I have yet to find a cover that I could put for my son, and I have a lot of time. So I opted to get the clear cover that she offers for the A5 size. I really love that there is this gap in the back for you to still be able to use the elastic band. Before this cover, I was using a Midori cover, and it was a very snug fit that it was starting to really compress the spine too much, and I couldn't use the elastic. And now that I can, I really enjoy this cover. It is a little bit big, not so much that it's a problem, because this journal will chunk up some, and I'm sure the cover, clear cover, will mold to what I have. But let's go ahead and show these beautiful covers here. The first one is this Lily of the Valley one. It has beautiful lacing. Each journal came with this little keychain, and it does not fit the eyelet exactly, but it was no problem to just loop it around like that, around this tab that was made. I love the closure on this journal. This one has a cream crochet lace. And what was really nice about these journals is that there are pockets. I don't normally look for pockets in journal covers of my own, but for this memory keeping, I need to log and file in some ephemera and photos until I get a chance to document, and so this is really nice to have these pockets. Now, the reason my kids' memory keeping journal are in bullet journals is because I was a long time bullet journaler, and when I discovered memory keeping, I was in a bullet journal. I've since then left the bullet journaling community, but because my son's journal is already in a bullet journal and I had picked out a journal for my 5-year-old, I thought I would just continue it. I already had a journal, extra journals from my previous collection, and so I thought I would pick one out of what I decided to keep for my third child. And so this is that. This one is the rose cover. And while I think the colors would be better suited if they were swapped, like this yellow would go really great with this turquoise, and then obviously the pink would go really great with the rose. My second daughter's nickname is going to be Rosie, so that's why I had to keep this cover with this journal, since this one is already started for my daughter Grace. But I thought I would show the covers just to see what they looked like and what I was waiting for, and now we will dive into the journals. So obviously my daughter is not born yet, my third one, so this is empty. I took some decorative bits that a friend put on an envelope for my baby shower, and so I added them in here, and it was really fitting that it was yellow on yellow. But let's go ahead and close this one up now and get it out of the way, since we are not working on anything for her yet. She is still very comfortable in the womb. Okay, so like I said, I thought to do this project after my first daughter was born, and right before my son was born. So I kept pretty much on track with my son's journal until about 6 months, and then that's around the time that I was really getting into Traveler's Company, leaving bullet journaling behind, and just loving journaling for myself. And so my projects like this journal really took a backseat. And it's something that I always knew I had to get back to and eventually start with my daughter. And now finding out that I was having a third and I'm literally due any moment now, I had to start my daughter's before she turned 5 and before I have way too much to backlog. I mean, I already have 5 years that I'm gonna need to backlog for her here. But yeah, I got motivated a couple weeks ago to finally start, and you know, small steps. I wrote her name in it first. Then I finally went and started the first 2 pages actually in the first part of the video that I was filming, but that footage is gone now. So I figured, okay, what another motivating moment to get back and get into these. So I am going to flip through my son's journal as an example of what I already have, talk about some things that you could document, and then do a little bit of journaling with me in my daughter's pages, all if my kids stay asleep during their nap. So let's go ahead and flip through my son's. So my son's journal is in an Olive & Son Co. journal. So my son's name is Caden. I did the inner page here with a Tombow brush pen. This is the band of his from the hospital, and then of course his information there. I didn't really have any guidance of how to do this. I tried to find videos after videos of examples, and at the time, since it was the first time memory keeping, I really struggled with what to do. But once he was born, I just kind of went with it and went through each month. I had a dear friend send me happy planner stickers, and a lot of them had really great prompts, and I did use them in this journal. So that was a great way to kind of lead me in a direction to go, and I will be following the exact same kind of template in my other daughter's journals. You'll notice that the tense of all of this is to my son, because I am going to gift this to him. And a lot of these memories, while I want it to be for me, I have to remember that this book is eventually for him. And so I want to keep it centered towards him, while I will have some messages and maybe some passages where it's like coming from me and not just like a third person. Here is why we chose his name. And then some of the stickers prompted me, like first day home, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks old, and we just did a little bit of pictures here. Not too much writing. I still didn't really know in what direction I wanted to go with this. So some of the captions I wrote were like, Ate Grace always asks to carry you. She loves you so much, and you sleep best on Daddy's chest. You sleep longest with him. He holds you close and keeps you warm. It sounds very like generic and Hallmark, but again, I just didn't know what to write. And I think I start to get more personal once I get my groove into memory keeping. So here is first month and second month. No captions, just stickers and decorations. And then his first holiday was Halloween. And so I have some pictures there. And then I start to do a month per page. And I think this is just because we actually started doing more things. At 3 months, he had his first flight, and there were these stickers from that Happy Planner sheet. And then this was our first time traveling internationally. And naturally, this was the first time we ever caught COVID. So that I did want to document and just say, because of this being in 2022, it's still so close to that world event. My daughter was born 2020, so I definitely plan to have probably a full spread on the emotions at that time, because it is such a world event. And those are some of the things that I want to include for my children, is that they were alive during certain times of very major world events that they will very, very likely see in history books when they get older, and just be a thing of the past when they're older. But they were alive through it in their youth. So 4 months, and then first Christmas, first New Year's. So obviously those holidays are close together. It was easy to do on one page, and then another page of just 5 months. Again, using some of the prompts from the Happy Planner stickers, like Discover's Feet, Creeps. I think down here was like rolls front to back. And then 6 months, we just continued traveling, since it is a lot easier to do within Europe when we were living in Italy. Finger foods, and just having some pictures there. Another holiday. And then just some developmental milestones like teething, climbing, crawling, things like that. We went back to California for the first time, and this was very big for Caden, because up until, I guess, 8 months, he had only met my parents, and so now he was going to get to meet the rest of his family. And so this was a big page for us too in this journal of his. So 9 months, 10 months, 11, we stayed in California for 3 months, getting to bond with family. So I did do a tip-in, just because there's just so many photos that I wanted to include of him with certain people. That's something I want to be more mindful of now, is to have photos of relatives, because I'm still very lucky to have both of my, actually all 4 of my grandparents. And so my kids have every great-grandparent on my side, and then a set of great-grandparents on my husband's side. So that's something I want to prioritize moving forward in this journal, is just including more photos of them while my kids have them in their lives. And then here we did my son's birthday early in California while we were surrounded by family. So this is a nice big spread. This is a card that his godmother made, and we had a Mario theme since he was born in Italy. And then other major milestones, my son was the ring bearer for my brother's wedding. My first nephew was born, so it was their first cousin. And then we had to be back in Italy before his first birthday. So his first birthday actual spread is very simple, given that I did a full birthday spread here. And that's pretty much where I left off. Everything else now is a to-do list. I got to 1 year old, and even this I backlogged like way after the fact. I think I was doing these pages when he was around 18 months. And at the time, I hadn't figured out yet what I really wanted to do following the first year of life. I really thought I was just going to do maybe like one spread for all of his second year, but so much happened. I have some notes here that I actually wrote just a few weeks ago of some things that I just knew I didn't want to skip if I was only going to do like a second birthday spread. And so I think I've decided to do this full spread is 6 months. And then this next one here is another 6 months. And then his second birthday spread. And so I did keep one of the cards that he received, and I think I'll make this like another tip-in. I really, really want to minimize the amount of tip-ins that I do because bullet journals don't thicken up very nicely and the spines don't hold up very well. And I know this because of a Happy Mail journal that I had, and I will actually show. This is actually a B6 Happy Mail journal that I did. It's by Notebook Therapy, so it's a different brand, but all their binding is pretty much the same. And look at how chunky this is. It has completely detached from the cover. So this thing is holding on by nothing. And there is that. So I had this experience already, and I really did stuff this every single page with packaging, with cards, with just really bulky things. And so I knew that these journals probably would not fare very well if I did a lot of ephemera. And so I've decided to just mostly do photos. This beginning part is already starting to fluff up. And the paper is already very thick to begin with. It's 160 GSM. And so that doesn't really help either in terms of this planner bulking up. Whether it was, you know, Olive & Son or Archer and Olive Journal or Notebook Therapy, they would all kind of just react the same way. So I'm minimizing as much ephemera that I add. So far, it's just been one photo from Chuck E. Cheese that I used as a tip-in right here, and then this birthday card, and then another birthday card. And I don't think that I will continue doing a birthday card every year. At least if I do though, then, you know, it's not every page. But it's a good place to be able to add extra photos by using the back of the card and things like that. So anyways, that is an example of what I've decided to do for the first year of life. I want to do all of the major milestones. When it gets to second year, just kind of like special things, not really so much developmental. But for example, in my son's second year of life, we traveled to Germany and went to Oktoberfest. He started a daycare for the first time, so I have photos of that. We also traveled to Paris, so I'll have more pictures of that. So this goes from 12 months to 18 months, and then 18 months to 24. I have things like moving cross country to California. That was his first military move. Learning how to swim, and becoming a big brother in October. Well, that'll be after second year, so that'll actually be after this page. So after his second birthday, yeah, some major things. Big brother. My son actually has an umbilical hernia, so he will need surgery, and that will be a big thing for him as well. And yeah, I don't know that I'm going to continue always it being 6 months on a spread, but I imagine too, as they get older, just having certain things like joining their first sports team, experiencing certain developmental things like maybe having his first bully and it being a letter from mom about you know, the kind of boy that he is, and to always remember to be kind, and just things like that are ideas that I have to include in my kids' journal. What really helped me to get started on this journal were really the sticker prompts. Now I'm using that to guide me on my daughter's journal. And so I've started now a couple weeks ago, and I copied the same format here on this intro page, and then I plan to have the same thing like I did with my sons. It was like a why we chose your name. And since this is our first child, it's, you know, there's a lot more about her being our first. So again, I'll do like a why we chose your name, and then all the visitors that she had. And this was like 2 months before COVID, so we were able to have a lot of visitors. And then following the same thing of like 1 week old, 2 weeks old, 3 weeks old. Go ahead and get into the journal with me part of this video and just start writing about what I want to fill in here. And then we will end off with some other ideas you could have to document memory keeping journals for your kids. Hello friends, it is the next day, and this is where I left off yesterday. Since these sticker book, or the one I got for baby girl, doesn't say weeks, I decided to just use the letters and say 1, 2, 3. I will probably hand letter the word weeks somewhere, and then it does have stickers for month. I don't really like this sticker book. It's by 𝘱𝑗. The stickers are just very, very thick. It's actually thicker than the photo printer paper. And so I just feel like that's going to add to the bulk as I use these stickers. But I have them, and I figure eventually once it gets through the first year, I won't really have much use for this anymore. And then I'm getting into pet tapes that I have saved up. So I realized, looking through all of my photos, that I have a lot for the first month. I think my mindset in planning these pages when I was selecting photos was following the 1 month per page that I was doing here, not realizing that I combined the first and second month in my son's journal. But that's fine because he had holidays here. So I am going to just continue with a page per month. So this will be 1 month, 2 months, and I have so many photos here for this first month. And then it does have a sticker. So that's what I'm going to do now. I am using Adtex removable tape, and I love this for when I'm doing projects like this because I can easily peel back the picture. I can actually peel back yesterday's photos. It does eventually cure after a while, but just see how easy it is to peel back. It makes me a little worried that they could just all fall off in the future, but I have I have a lot of journals that I've used the removable glue tape on from my earliest ones being 2 years ago, and none of those have fallen off. So I like it during the creative process, but in the archiving, I do think about whether it's going to lift up or not. The permanent refill version of this is very much permanent. I cannot, once I stick it down, lift it up at all without curving and creasing the photo or tearing and pulling up some paper with it. So the permanent version is very, very good as well. And I actually go back and forth between the two depending on what I'm working on. I mean, I should very much, and look at that, I finished. I should very much use the permanent one in these journals. I probably will now go ahead and switch into that. I just, because there's so many photos and the layouts, I just worry about it sometimes. But I have a permanent refill here that's already actually in use because I only have one case and I actually switch through them back and forth depending on what project I'm in. So I guess now I will use the permanent one. And I just have to remember now that I can't lift any of these up. So the pressure is pretty much on now. So I have a specific sticker of this that I wanted to use, and it is from 𝘬𝘯𝘵𝘗. I actually got all of these stickers for my daughter's journal. Kate from 𝘬𝘯𝘗 reached out to me to gift me a package, and I was so grateful. I picked a lot of them based on what I knew would fit my daughter's journal really well, considering that she is about to turn 5. So I kind of know about her personality and the things that she likes and some of the things that we've done that I want to document in her journal. So I picked a lot of these for her, and one was a gamer girl. That is actually a sticker sheet that I want, but I can use, you know, one piece of it here and not exactly have to use the entire sticker sheet in this journal. So while I do love the girls, they are just rather large, and so I can use the smaller elements here that say play and the little Game Boy. We announced my daughter's birth with a photo of my husband and I's gaming controllers, and then her in between them and say player 3 is ready to join. I think player 3 is ready, something like that. But I didn't print that photo. Now I feel like I should have. That would have gone over here though. But this is still cute. I want to make sure I have enough space for these stickers before I place down this last photo. See, this is the moment where I would have totally removed this. It's not, okay, it's not as easy to remove, and it did lift up some paper, but if you do it right away, you kind of can. So I'm going to move it up here so I have more space to play with these stickers. But this photo, my husband and I love so much. We put my controller and headphones on her, and she wasn't crying right away in the photo, but once my husband got in position to take the photo, my daughter was crying, and so it totally acted like it was a really funny picture because we made the caption like, when daddy doesn't let you win. I love to use stickers on the corners of photos when you have things that you don't care to block, like there was water bottles in the background. And now I want to get the Valentine stickers that I've literally been hoarding for years. I just never remember to actually use them in a Valentine spread. My son's journal definitely looked a lot more cohesive, following all of the same stickers from the Happy Planner. But again, that was the very, very beginning of my memory keeping time and journey and all that stuff. And now that it's 2.5 years later, I have accumulated so much stuff, so many different styles of things. And so I can definitely see where my daughter's journal is going to definitely look out of place in terms of the chronological order of my journaling journey, because now I have all of this good stuff to use. And just like how this is all from Valentine's Day and this is from, you know, just a play on what the photo actually is versus like my son's journal just all having the same Happy Planner stickers, and then of course some Halloween stickers there. But it's all very cohesive. And this is very cute also because it sticks together, it all goes together, it all matches page by page. It's got the same fonts and things like that. So I'm really interested. I'm really curious to see what my daughter's journal is going to look like and how it's going to come together now that it's really just a hodgepodge of all these things. And I don't mind. I think I can have a lot more fun now playing with some of these things, but it's definitely interesting to experience, given that I'm working on my first daughter's journal while I have all this stuff. And I did my second child's journal at the very beginning of my entire sticker decorating journey. Because before, when I was doing bullet journaling, it was literally only Crayola markers, mild liners, hand-drawn layouts, everything I drew. I was not yet into decorative, creative journaling. I think I'm good with decorating. With my kids' journals, I find that I'm not so scared of the white space. I actually really like the white space so it doesn't overcrowd. Whereas in my personal travel journals and other memory keepers, I feel like if there's white space, I'm not using the space wisely and I should add more. So it's definitely a different vibe and feel. I don't know. I'd love to hear in the comment section how you are about certain projects and journals. Do you feel very maximalist in a certain journal, paper type, decor style, and then super maximalist in another? Because that's how I feel. Whereas someone would say this is not minimal at all, but in terms of my style, having more white space is favorable for me in this type of journal, whereas, you know, my other journals, I fill up every single nook and cranny with a sticker, with text, with a stamp, anything. This one is your book.
Mom.
That's Mama, yes. That's me, yes, Mama.